welcome to The Other Side. This is a show that talks to those that you see in their success. Well, you don't know the backstory. I'm here to bring you the backstory. And today we're here with visionary and founder, SHERNETTA Blue of the Divine Daughters. And we're at her place called The Dressing Room. Welcome, SHERNETTA, to The Other Side.
Thank you so much for having me.
You know, when we initially met, I interviewed you on a station that I had a talk show, and we discussed brokenness and mentoring. Tell me, what is it about that whole concept that brought you to create and find Divine Daughters, and now in this beautiful space, The Dressing Room?
All of my life, I thought that external things would explain who I was in life. But it was finding out that it was okay to not be okay that made me realize that I had to do something different. My thinking had to be transformed. So on my jobs, I would be acting out. And it was because of the way I grew up.
So acting out, what is acting out exactly on your job?
Having a problem with authority and correction.
Okay.
Just being mean-spirited all the time.
And was it because you were angry or hurt?
Oh, I was anger the first derivative of anger is hurt. I was hurt throughout my life because my mom had went through a lot of things. She had, she was on drugs, and she had left, I felt, abandoned me.
Oh, wow.
So, and I realized in growing up that my problem was I had a problem with authority, especially with women. And so through not being okay, it was the older women that would come into my space that would know that I was not nurtured.
And they could just pick up because of your behavior?
My
or
behavior.
Was it just merely your behavior, or was it even the way you related to women in general?
It was my behavior.
It was your behavior.
My behavior. I was never like disrespectful in the aspect of, as far as my elders, but during the correcting part.
Okay.
I would always defend myself because I felt as if everyone was coming for me.
Okay.
I felt as if I was never protected. You know, my mom and dad separated when I was 7 or 8 years old. My dad has always been a provider, never a protector. So he was emotionally unaware of what I needed from him. And then when my mother went through her circumstances, it left me in the arms of my dad. So basically I had this mentality like a man because I was being raised by one.
You were being raised by a man. So you picked up on, so would you actually classify yourself as a daddy's girl?
No.
No, so it's not even that type of a relationship that you had with your father.
Correct.
But that's what you had to lean on, so that's what you did.
Correct.
Okay.
Because one thing my father created in me was stability. My dad was a Marine. Everything we did was in order in that time, and the things that he did as far as keeping us stable.
There was a certain structure and process to everything because of the military discipline.
However, that's not real life.
Okay, so what is real life for SHERNETTA?
Real life for me was like I was externally fixed but internally broken. Real life for me was I don't want to turn out this way. I want to do something different. However, I didn't have the tools to do that. So when I started to get mentored through women, I realized that your mom, by nature, she gives birth, but by nurture, the spiritual growth happens.
And your character developed.
And my character developed.
And your beliefs and your values. Okay.
And it also came with a lot of correction.
So tell us about the correction.
Oh my God, I was just laughing the other day watching my mom. I understand why I act how I act. You couldn't tell me anything. Every time someone corrected me, it was, you know what, you're not going to come for me. This is not how you're going to treat me. I'm going to protect myself no matter what. You just can't, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me what to do. You couldn't tell me anything.
Now, you know, when we're teenage girls, a lot of us sometimes already go through growing pains because we're awkward, you know, at a certain age of being a teenager. We're coming into our own. We're physically developing. We're mentally, emotionally developing, going through changes. Did that compound what you were already experiencing growing up in a household that was broken?
Absolutely, because I was emotionless. You know,
I
was
emotionless.
Emotionless. I think the first time I truly cried, I was 30.
Are you serious?
Yes, I think the first time I actually cried, and I was not in physical pain, and it was emotion, I think I was 30 years old. Because I know in my household, I never saw vulnerability. I never saw conflict resolved. I never saw, you know, I always tell the girls I mentor, you know, conflict is healthy because everyone's going to have a different opinion. So I never saw resolution-based conflict. It was always the yelling, the cursing, you know, you're not going to talk to me like that. So, yeah, I was emotionless.
And when did you finally decide, you know, this is not working for me? What was that moment that the light came on for you?
It was not that I decided it. It was people calling me out on it.
Oh.
You know, my first mentor was like, you know what, something's wrong with this picture. I understand your mama left you. However, you're going to have to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it?
What you going to do
about it? Like your mom
it?
left you, but now what are you going to do about it?
Because you're somebody else's mother.
Ah, at that point. So when did you actually have children, and are they girls?
I was pregnant with my first daughter at 16. I had 2 children by the time I was 18 years old. When I graduated from high school, I had 2 children with 2 different men.
Wow. So do you think that that was a direct result of your behavior?
Absolutely. I realized that I was a dadless daughter with a dad because I've always been attracted to older men.
Oh, wow.
So I was basically looking for what I needed in my dad from someone that couldn't even give it to me. It's like going to a bank, the bank trying to cash a bounce check knowing the money's not there.
Right. Yeah. That's I like that. I like that. So, okay, now here you are, you're 18. You have 2 children. What are you going to do to fix your situation? How did that catapult you into knowing that you needed to do something different?
I actually, at 18, when I met my first mentor, Miss Julia Barnes Gillespie, when I first met her, it was because I was in an abusive relationship with her son. And one time we had gotten into this big fight, and I had to go to the hospital and get stitches, and she came home and she was like, this is not for you.
She told you.
She told me that. She told
that
me
her son
was not for
was
me.
not for you.
Yes,
she knew
did.
that that was a toxic relationship.
Her words to me were, he is his dad.
Wow.
This is the last time this is going to happen to you. So what do you want to do with your life? Now, remind you, back to the problem with authority. I had just got suspended from work the day before because my nurse at work, I had been a CNA for 3 months. My nurse at work had told me to do something, and I just went off on her. So Ms. Gillespie, at the point that she was telling me all this stuff, I'm just taking it in. She said, so what do you want to do with yourself? I said, I don't even know. But after I got in trouble at work, I kept saying, no one will ever be able to talk to me like this again. So it's something how strategic God's plan is. As she was asking, Ms. Gillespie was asking me these questions, a commercial came on for nursing school. And I turned around and said, I think that's what I want to do.
Really?
She said, well, write the number down. And she gave me
Take an action step.
Yeah, she said,
okay.
Call them. They told me it was $45 to take the test. She gave me the $45. And she told me, once you take this test and pass it, you will not look back. Leave my son.
Wow.
And it happened in that order.
You know, I have to say that I have to commend your mentor, Ms. Gillespie, because there's not a lot of mothers that would sit there and tell their son's, girlfriend, leave him alone. He's not good for you. They would spin it that, well, she must have done something to make him do this. But that's a very strong woman, but she admitted to you that she saw her husband or his father in him to the degree that she knew that it wasn't a good thing.
And not only that, she put him out and let me stay.
Now that's that's different. That's very different. Okay, I'm going to put my blood out and let you stay.
She said, I'm a woman first.
That is something, I would love to talk to her and find out about what's in her mind and how the perspective of things that she sees. So let's take us a little bit further now. You get into nursing school, yes?
I did.
Okay, and what happened after that?
I always say that Miss Gillespie is my external mentor. She was the first woman to tell me about shaving under my arms, having my own perfume. She told me everything about being a lady. So externally, I was fixed, but internally broken.
And that's what you mean by external. So the appearance on the outside, she said, this is how a lady looks. This is how a lady should be and smell and carry herself. And on the outside, you were this pretty package, but you were a pretty mess.
Pretty mess.
A pretty mess. So what happened that you started to heal, because that's really what it is, healing on the inside, so it could even be more reflective on the outside?
I go on my job. I pass my boards for nursing school. I go on my job. I meet my second mentor.
Okay.
I am being totally disrespectful to a woman old enough to be my grandmother. I meet my second mentor. Her name is Ursine Wright Thomas. And I used to admire this lady from afar. She was always, like I always say, that influence is silent. I just watched the way she moved. She was always so graceful and things of this nature. So she sees me disrespecting this older woman. She asked me, could she speak to me for a second? And I'm like, sure. She takes me in the medication room and she curses me out.
Wait a minute. She got cursed out. Okay, that's what, like, get it together. She cursed you out.
She cursed me out. She
gave you what you were giving somebody else.
Absolutely.
And what did that do for you?
I couldn't do anything but cry. Because the first thing she said to me, and it makes me choke up every time we talk about this, she said, the people you pay your bills to don't care about what you've been through. Your two kids, they don't care about what you've been through. But when the lights get cut off and the gas is cut off, they're looking at you because it's all they have to look at. She said, I was you. She said, I will be with you from today to the rest of your life. And that's exactly what it is, 20 years later.
Wow. And that just made you, that broke you to a level of
clarity. It was something that, you know, how meaningful, it was powerful. She was meeting me right where I was. She knew she had to talk to me that way to get my attention. And when she first shut the door, because as I said earlier, I was so defensive, I'm like, I'm gonna have to fight this lady. She got me messed up. You know, that's what I was thinking. But the power in which she spoke and the genuine heart that she had for a child that she didn't even know, because I was a child under her. And to even just know that she took the time to even get me right. You know, and you know, that was such a blessing. And it was something in me that would not let a word come out of my mouth, you know, when she said that.
So let's start talking about this whole mentoring, because one theme that I keep hearing is the mentoring. And what was it for you that you said, you know what, I'm not the only person that needs this. This is something that's also needed by somebody else. And I'm going to be the catapult for that. I'm going to be the conduit for that. And I remember in talking with you before, I used that word, the conduit. What was it for you that said, this is what we need to do, this is how I'm going to do it?
I always said to myself, I have to be to others what I needed. And just to know that a woman that does not physically birth you can birth something in your spirit, that was amazing for me. You know, she treated me as if I were her sixth child. I mean, even today. She's always treated me like I was her child.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So I had to give what she's given to me.
Where did you come up with the concept? I'm a concept person. I always like to know, how did you derive at a name? So how did you come up with Divine Daughters?
Oh my God, I had a dream about it. My girlfriend was like, girl, you got a gift. You need to do this and that. So my cousin came to my house one day. She told me the same thing. And she took me and we filled out my stuff for my 501c3 and all this stuff. And I actually had a dream. I woke up, I called my girlfriend Nikki. I said, Nikki, this is supposed to be called Divine Daughters. And I said, God divinely had me to go through all that brokenness to help someone else.
And you knew that you wanted to focus on girls.
Yes.
On the daughters. What made you come up with the daughter? Because
in mentoring with Miss Gillespie, and Miss Gillespie had no girls. I was her daughter she never had. Miss Thomas, she had 2 daughters, but I was the oldest daughter she never had. So when you begin to get a divine connection with these girls, they feel like they're your daughters. So they're my daughters that God gave me.
And it's because you feel that God gave it to you. That's what made
I know
it
He did.
divine.
It made it divine.
And you know that He
I
did.
know it.
Okay. And then we met and we talked after the show interview, after the radio show interview. And because of what you said and things that you brought forth, we thought about, hey, I need to get this lady on the radio. So I wanted to do an interview, and then I took it a step further. And I said that she needed a show. And we came up with the dressing room. So let's talk about the dressing room and this beautiful place that you have that is actually a physical spot for you to meet with broken girls, right? And mentor to them. Tell us about the dressing room.
The dressing room, the concept of coming up with the dressing room, I had this beautician, I just loved her to death. Her name was Monique Richards, and the name of her studio was the dressing room. And I said, Monique, I said, why did you say that? She said, I just don't know, it just sounded catchy to me. I said, for me, it means so much more. I said, every time I get my hair done, I feel beautiful, I feel wonderful. But when I go home and lay down at night, I'm sitting with myself. I said, so what do we do with brokenness? We dress it up.
Right, that's right.
So, you know, dressing up brokenness, hairdos, degrees, makeup, material things. At the end of the day, we're still sitting with the individual pain that we sit in. All of us sit in. We all have some degree of brokenness. It might just look different for other people.
And if people are interested in becoming a part of your organization, which is a 501c3 organization, what is it that they should do to get in touch with you?
You all can reach me at divinedaughtersoonline@gmail.com. We're on Facebook at Divine Daughters. We're on Instagram at Divine Daughters Online on IG. And we're located at 2923 Patterson Road, Florissant, Missouri, 63031.
So, hey, everybody, I want to thank SHERNETTA Bouier Blue, who is the founder and visionary of Divine Daughters, the 501c3 organization that works with young women, mentoring them through their brokenness. You know, Ray J's reality is that this young woman is really raw and authentic, a raw, authentic woman, real, authentic woman. So you make sure that you tune in to get a little bit more of the Divine Daughters, and the dressing room is also the name of the show on KOVLradio.com. You can check her out every Monday and Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can also catch me on Wednesdays, my Live with Ray J Woman Crush Wednesdays from 11 to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on KOVLradio.com. And I come back again on Sunday with Brown Sugar Sunday Brunch from 10 to noon. Hey, hug somebody, love somebody today. You might be the only person they get that from. I love you to life and on purpose, and I'll see you on the other side.